Welcome along to the EXFL Tier 2 Season 7 Singapore Grand Prix. I'm F1 Union, your main commentator for tonight, and alongside me once again is Bramley at Lamb. Bram, how are you tonight?
Very good. Happy to be back again, and definitely for Singapore. Happy for that.
Indeed, we've got 18 drivers, and hopefully we are going to wait on 2 more joining in qualifying to hopefully have a full grid for the second time this season and the second time in the last 4 races for Tier 2 Season 7. In fact, before the last, as Josh Hewitt serves his qualifying ban, before the last full grid, which was Belgium earlier this season, was here in Singapore 2 years ago in Tier 2 Season 3, as Nathan has now joined. He'll hopefully get in the Alpine, make it 19, and then we're just missing Chaz F1's teammate of Seb. But anyway, we're riding on board while we're looking at the newest debutant of EXFL Tier 2, Optic. Hopefully Jake has a good debut tonight, as Chaz Meister's back in after leaving early. So yes, quick recap from last week, the Italian Grand Prix. VRL Frozen did get his 5-second time penalty removed, and he ended up winning the Grand Prix ahead of Ben94, who came in a good P2 after a brilliant drive. I think that's him just exiting the pit lane. And yeah, we are about to witness potential history as BRL Frozen, 10 poles to his name, and the guy above him, Frosty Life, 10 poles to his name. They both share the record for the most Tier 2 poles in EXFL history, and now that record could go to BRL Frozen if he gets his 11th pole of his career. Anyway, just checking the chats, make sure we're good. Bram, is there any car you want to ride on board with for when they start a lap?
Yeah, for Ollie, who's now in the last corner, yeah.
Ollie, right, take us through this lap then, Bram.
Okay, enters the main straight. It's a very short main straight. Braking at the 50-meter boards, trying to touch this little curb in turn 1, turn 2. You take a lot. Now to turn 3 here. You need to be really good in the power there. Very easy to spin. Here, turn 4. Very easy to invalidate your lap. He doesn't touch the inside curb. That so far, it's a good sector 1. Okay. So now, flat right-hander here. Ending sector 1 with a 26.903. That's a pretty good sector 1 already so far. Now here, through a right-hander, very hard, difficult in my opinion. And then here, a medium speed left-hander here. Now going to the Singapore sling. One of the most trickiest parts in Tier 2 to come across as a driver. So far, he touches that curb there, which is not ideal, but can do. Now to the hairpin. So far, this lap is pretty good, especially for Tier 2. And then here, he's gonna end his sector 2. A 1-4-4-2 for 1. That's purple so far. Purple in the middle sector. Now here to the change part of the track. No more corners there. Just a flat left-hander to a small straight. No DRS there. Here, chicane. This is a difficult chicane. Very difficult. We won't see overtaking there, but people will try. Here, last corner. Very high speed. Ooh, he has a bit of a moment there, but he finishes his lap in a 1:29.306, which is definitely a good banker lap.
Solid banker from Ollie then, 9/10, nearly a second ahead of Callum as Sin Icon slots his car in between, 4/10 off the pace. We'll see what Optic can do around the final corner. He's unfortunately nearly a second off as his first lap time as a Tier 2 driver puts him fourth, as Luigi right behind, 1.4 down as his teammate Carbro on his return. Carbro, the GOAT, is finally back in EXFL Tier 2 as he starts his first lap time. He's been synonymous with AlphaTauri, but tonight he is driving that scarlet red Ferrari number 7 as he dives his way into turn 5 onto the straight. Now, who else is on a lap? BRL Frozen on an out lap. Frosty in the pits. I think Frozen's just getting out of the way of people there. Chaz F1 to start his lap now. So into turn 1. He trails BRL Frozen in the World Championship by 18 points, with Frozen on 200, dead on with him on 182. So it's a very crucial weekend for Chaz F1 to try and get back his momentum. Hasn't won for about 5 or 6 races now, as Taze is on the back of back-to-back victories as he's exiting the end of Sector 1 now. Let's see what he can do. It's a 27.5, 5/10 off the pace, as I've just realised he already set a lap time, half a second off. Oh well. Anyway, let's see who else is on a lap. Nathan in the Alpine reserving. First time he's raced in a while. Hirozu in the pit lane. Callum in his second race after getting points on debut. And then Orant heading around the final corner. I believe this lap is a slow one, as it's a 1:50. Chaz Meister just exited sector 1. 27-0, not too bad, only a 10th off Ollie. Logan still in the pit lane, and Josh Stephen heading through. Yeah, like Bram said, the old Singapore sling. The long left-hander, then a quick right-hander, avoiding the wall. So easy to bin it. Then heading through under the Anderson Bridge into the hairpin now. Smooth as you like, getting close to the wall, wanting to get away from that off patch at the white line. DRS activated to the end of sector 2 now. Heavy braking zone into the right-hander, and like Bram said, a new revised part as Josh slides out of the exit. He's got a Mercedes behind him. Is that Oren? No, it's Ben94, who's not on a lap. So yeah, then heading through the final chicane now for the Alpine. He's flashing. I don't know if this is just one of those laps where he's going to pull in. He is. So 12 times on the board, 11 actual ones. Frosty Life on the medium compound tyres, as his teammate would have also done. But like we said, Josh Hewitt is going to start this race from last, as he has a qualifying ban that he has now served. Biro Frozen has just begun his lap then, as he's just finished sector 1, taking a very nice line on his banker, leaving no room out there until the final run, where he's going to push to the limits. Little wide there, but he's taken enough to carry momentum. Now through the hairpin, making sure to get on the brakes just right. Hit the inside curb, but not go over it. DRS open, and now he plunges his way down to the end of sector 2, where we're going to see the representative time of a 1 minute 4.150. Purple, it's saying on our screens, getting right up to the white line, not invalidating, and then foot flat to the floor now for this new part of the track. Got Ferrari in front of him and will hopefully get out the way of Carbro. Now heading in to the chicane. He does, still going to put him off a little bit, taking it cautiously right up the wall, and then 2 final corners you just got to take with as much confidence as you can on the curb and across the line for VOL Frozen. 29.1, a 10th ahead of Ollie.
Yeah. That is
Lighthand.
a really good lap for the championship leader.
Lighthand set the exact same time as Sin Icon then.
No, 1,000's better. On my screen it says a 129.731 instead of 129.732.
Interesting. It says if you go to leader, it's like the exact same gap. But I'll quickly go to. Oh yeah, you're right, Bram. Yeah, 3-1-3-2, but it says the same gap for some reason. Oh well. At least they've put him in the right order. Right then, who's not set a time? Horosia, Logan, and Josh all in the pit lane. Oren will be going again. He's already found 16 seconds. Look at the lad. In the final sector now. Carbro invalidated. Chasmeister in the pits. Frosty 6/10 down. On the medium, so is Horosia.
Lap.
Right, we'll come around the final couple corners then. And he's coming into the pits. So yeah, Ollie said... Ollie's got no front wing. Okay. Well, Ollie said before the race, before quali, that he's cooking, he's going to get P10. But usually whenever he does say something like that, he does always muster up a great qualifying. And it seems like he's the closest person to challenge Taze in terms of these qualifyings, to not let Taze run away. But we've also got people like Sin Icon, Chaz F1, and Ben94, who are all going to challenge for pole as well. You can't discount any of them. Even Logan, down in P17 on his outlap at the moment for Red Bull. His teammate of Callum, as Noah isn't racing tonight, and if Callum does a good enough job, it looks like he will be taking that Red Bull seat for the foreseeable future, as Noah is going to go down to reserve. But we hope to see the Dutch Dodo back on the grid soon. And it looks like Seb, I don't know yet if he's joining. He's got 8 minutes to do so if we are going to have a full grid. I think Frozen's just about to start another lap. Yeah,
so far it has been a pretty quiet quali so far. Nobody's gotten into the way, not a lot of invalidations, not a lot of crashes. It's very clean, nice to see that, especially in Singapore with the walls so nearby.
Indeed, Biro Frozen then just exiting turn 4 as he heads now into turn 5. So far so good for the McLaren and the championship leader, DRS Open. You want to take us through the rest of this, Bram?
With Biro Frozen?
Yep, he's just finished sector 1 now. He's down by half a tenth.
Down by half a tenth through sector 1, it's not over yet, especially time to win in his lap. Here, very close to the apex, he takes that corner almost perfectly here, he touches a bit of the inside curve, which is not ideal. Now going to the old Singapore sling. Last time I went a bit wide, but so far It's really good. Ooh, he goes a bit deep into that one. I mean, you can do that. It's not the ideal line. So far, it seems like a pretty decent lap. Don't know if his sector 2 time will improve with that. We will see at this end of this straight here. He doesn't. He's down with 12 thousandths, but he took the purple middle sector. So now, flat left-hander to the small straight, going through the very tricky chicane now. Takes it into a curb perfectly, I think, in my opinion. Now taking as much track as he can with the curbs. Last corner, he didn't have moment, and that's an improvement with a bit more than a tenth, 0.114 improving. He's going to a 129.059, which is 2.5 tenths quicker than the halves of Ollie in P2.
What a lap from Frozen. Yeah, he was down by half a tenth in the first, then only 100th in the middle as Logan goes to P3, and then heading through that chicane where Carbro just got out of the way, and it may have mindset him off. On this time, he's found the time, and BRL Frozen extends his advantage. Now it's up to see what Ollie can do as he's heading for his outlap. But yeah, Logan up to P3 now, ahead of Lightan, who's just began his lap, and Sin Icon is up by a few hundredths, but that Aston Martin may have hampered him. We'll see what it's like in that blue helmet as he heads through the end of set 2. He's found a 10th, has Sin Icon, which can get him back up into 3rd, but none of them are challenging for pole position at the moment. Chaz F1 in the pit lane, 3/4 of a second down with under 6 minutes to go. And what about Optic? Optic up in P7, which is great to see on his debut. Friend of Sin Icon in the AlphaTauri. I didn't even realise the two friends are in the same team. But Sin Icon comes down the final corner now. It's a 29.9. Unfortunately, something's happened there to make him down by 2 tenths.
And that is not a good lap from Sin Icon, who threw it away in sector 3. But so far, Chaz, the championship contender, who's right now second in the championship, after a couple poor qualities in a row, is yet again not where he wants to be in P6. I hope we will see him further ahead of the grid, but right now he is in P6, unfortunately.
Right, Heroes retired from the session. That means at best he'll start P17. But here's Ollie then, heading through turn 1, 2 and 3, taking it as tightly as you want. But that's wide and invalid for Ollie on the exit of 4. And does he have enough time to get back into the pit lane and go again? We got just under 5 minutes. I believe so, because I was about to question if that lap wouldn't be invalid. Would he be able to go for another run? But we know now, as he's, look at that, he's found a 1/10.5 over. So we know there's a lot of time in for Ollie, and he's still going to push to see what he can do.
Leighton just invalid in the last corner, and he was improving with 3.5 tenths, but now that's all for nothing, and that would have seen him up to P3.
Oh, it would have. It would have been so close to Ollie's time as well. That's the problem with some of these tracks. The last corner is a make or break, and sometimes if you go too wide, pretty much anywhere really here, you're either going to have a face full of barrier, or you are going to be left with an invalidation. Right then, look, here we go. Chaz F1 exiting the pit lane with Frozen's teammate Cal, who got a really good P4 finish in Italy last time, right behind him. And yeah, Chaz looks like he's going to be on his own today, as his teammate's not here. And McLaren really have been gaining on Alfa Romeo in the standings. We thought Alfa Romeo were a done deal of going to win the championship, but Cal has really stepped up, as has Taze, and they're really bringing the fight to Alfa Romeo. I think the gap is only about 20 to 30 points, so it is going to be very interesting to see what happens between Chaz, Taze, and mainly Cal, who can pick up the most points for the team overall to help them excel above Alfa Romeo. But we have yellows in Sector 1 for some reason. There we go, 3 minutes 15, the top 4 in the pit lane, and now make that the top 5. Chaz F1 then, qualifying recently, hasn't been his strongest suit, but he needs a good lap time to get himself at minimum onto the second row if he is to challenge his title rival. 8 races to go, and we know who the title protagonists are now. It's Chaz F1 versus BRL Frozen. Chaz has led the season for the majority until BRL Frozen 3 times now. He led it 1 time, missed the next race, Chaz got it back, and now he's led the last 2 rounds. So it's up to Chaz with the 18-point deficit to see what he's worth as he heads through the final 2 corners now to start his final lap at the Singapore Grand Prix in the Alfa Romeo. into turn 1. How much does he want to attack? How much does he want to find as Ben 94's back in? That's great as the Red Bull gets out the way, making sure not to invalidate on the exit and gets past the other Red Bull. Now heading through the quick right-hander. So far so good, but he's got a bit of traffic up in front of the Alpine and the Ferrari. Now foot flat to the floor, and doesn't that dark red Alfa Romeo just look amazing under the skylit as he's found over a 10th and a half. Great stuff for the Alfa Romeo as he now has to plunge his way through the most technical part of the circuit. Sector 2 then, the corners keep coming at you, heading through the left, right up against the wall. He knows this is it, this is the lap that determines where he's going to start the Grand Prix as he's just attacking every corner, taking it perfectly. We know we've seen Chaz in one lap around here with greatness as he proved that at the restart 2 seasons ago at Singapore as the Alpine gets out the way. Now on exit, little wide from the Alfa Romeo. But yeah, that brilliant safety car restart where he went from 8th to 2nd in 1 lap. He's found a 10th and a half still, and he's pushing to the absolute limit, right on the edge of the white line, still keeping it within validation. And now, at best, it's looking like P3, but he has to get this P3 as he heads through the final chicane now. Left, then slick it right. Now over the curb, it's a little off the curb, and now he's got 2 corners to try and gain as much time as he can. Round the final 2, he's leaving no time on the table for Chaz F1. Crosses the line. Unfortunately, he doesn't improve. He went over that curb, which sent him off, and he's lost all that time, and it'll be P6 at best, unless he goes in the wall. And that just says it all, really. Unfortunate, so unfortunate as Ollie is about to start his final lap. Look at the traffic. Ollie looks like he'll be one of the last to cross the line. So will the Ferrari as the AlphaTauri gets out of the way. And BRL Frozen starts his final run then. As is Joshua at the back. The 2 Alpines need to deliver. Oren as well. Chaz Meister starting his lap now as well. Here we go then. The times are going to tumble. Who's getting pole? As Cal's backed off already, I think. That's it for him, I think. P9. Carbo P8, 2 seconds down. Optic on his debut, still P7. And Chaz F1 with no front wing will be P6 at best. Sin Icon crosses the line to start his lap. He will be, I believe, the last driver to cross the line and start his lap. So, what about Ollie then? Heading into turn 5, right on the limit. How was that not invalidated? He's got 2 cars in front of him, potentially on laps. So he's got to just push his maximum. We know he can find a 10th and a half in Sector 1. Let's see if he can do it again as Cal gets out the way. He's found just over a 10th. Has Ollie, but he needs double that time as he's onto the curb. What about Logan then? He's found 3/10. This could be a really shock surprise from Logan as Chaz F1 is out. P6 is cemented. Then Logan round the final couple corners. He's been great in qualifying recently. He crosses the line now and he goes up to 2nd by 1,000th. He is ahead of Ollie. That is crucial for Ollie now to set this lap time to get himself back minimum on the front row as BRL Frozen. What about him? He's found a 10th. Could he get into the 28s? This man is special. He's broken all pole records, and with the final pole record, it goes to BRL Frozen, an 11th pole of his career into the 28s, and now we see if Ollie has got any challenge to that. At the moment, it's looking good for a front row, but can he really pull out as much time as he can to get that Haas on pole position and snatch back the record to save Frosty Life, who's 10th at the moment? Lightan out of nowhere crosses the line. Ollie can't deliver, but Lightan has, out of nowhere. Lightan has taken pole position. Can you believe it? Sin Icon to cross the line in 4th, and by 14 thousandths out of nowhere, Lightan gets his Williams on pole. Unbelievable. Optic goes P6 on his debut. What a qualifying right at the end. We thought we saw the record broken, and Frosty Life is going to owe a hell of a lot to Lightan. His record stays. Lightan is on pole for the Singapore Grand Prix. Wow.
What a lap. What a lap from the Indian driver. Dang.
He's screaming in the chat, let's go. And let's go indeed. You're on pole position, Mr. Lightan. Wow. Right at the end, that came from nowhere. It says 15 thousandths for some reason.
I mean, I kind of expected Leighton to be up there, but for Paul, that's completely unexpected. I mean, he is strong in high downforce tracks, but in quali he normally isn't. But here, he's back up in Paul.
Absolutely amazing. Just taking a photo of the grid just in case of any Lap 1 glitches.
shocked.
That's mega. We've seen some close polls this season, like Canada and other races, but that might be the closest margin I've seen for pole all season, I think. And wow, right at the end. Ollie and Sin on the second row, Logan, Optic, Chaz down in 7th, then Callum in his second race in 8th. Carbro on debut back into the top 10 and Frosty Life. 10 poles to his name, P10. And it is a wet Singapore Grand Prix. Oh my lord.
I'm just getting. I just wanted a wet Singapore in tier 2. Jaden, what are we going to do, man?
I'm just going to ask for the 7 weather icons. If any of the drivers can take a photo of just above their strategy, that would be great.
Do not worry, all the drivers lower down into the grid. There have been times like Tom last season when people drive from really far down into the grid to the first position to into the top 5. In season 5 we saw someone drive from P18 to P1, so anything can happen here. It's not over yet. Thunder?
Yep. Right, here we go then. I got the weather just in case for a restart. I've got the grid just in case for a restart. But here we go then. 19 drivers, full wet Singapore Grand Prix. The 5 lights come on. The revs rise. Lightan on the right. Taze on the left. And it's lights out. And away we go. And that's a slow start from the AlphaTauri at the back as the Red Bulls make their way up. But who's going to lead into turn 1? Emerging out. It's Lightan. And around the outside is Ollie as Taze gets hit from the back of Sin Icon. Ollie goes off onto the run-off as Ollie goes round the outside of Taze for the battle for P2. Into the wall nearly is the Red Bull, but it's Lightan who leads out, and Frozen just gets ahead of Ollie on traction in the full wet weather. These are sketchy conditions, and round the outside is Sin trying to make the move, nearly goes into the wall, has to back out. The 2 Red Bulls, and what's happened to Chaz F1? He's down in P10 as they're all wheel to wheel now as they are emerged in the spray. Lightan has got the lead, has got the gap, and he's away ahead of Frozen, who goes off ahead of Ollie. Cow, what a start from him up in the 4th ahead of Sin Icon. Then Logan, and then the other AlphaTauri of Optic has got Carbro down the inside as they head through the right-hander. Chaz F1 ahead of Ben now up in a P9. He's on the inside of Carbro as they're wheel to wheel. He edges him out and onto nearly into the wall. Chaz back up in at 8th, and now he's on the back of Optic for P7. Is he going to make the move stick? Is Ollie going to hang around the outside? They are, but Chaz forces him off nearly into the wall. Chaz getting his elbows out, back up in the 7th.
And what a start for Lighton, who stays in P1, but at the back there was absolute chaos with a 6-way crash there.
Oh, we got Luigi off, BS safety car. As he crashes it, he's done a Russell. He's gone into the wall before the Singapore Sling, as Chazmeister's also got caught up, and Oren as well, not exactly on the back of the pack with Nathan, Frosty and Josh being the outliers there, the rest all in a train, and now we have a safety car. So, if I just look back at the weather, it's going to get...
Numero uno.
Yep, 1 down. We can only have 5, so it's going to be heavy rain, lightning, heavy rain, light rain, and then the final 2 icons are dry. The more safety cars we have, the quicker the dry period comes. So, it's going to be very interesting to see what the cars do. At the moment, you can see the rain, see how heavy it is, and the safety car. Unlucky that reduces Lightan's 1.4 second gap to nothing now. But what a start.
Yeah.
Right, so let's see. Biggest gainers. Who's the biggest gainer? Herosia and Josh from last and 18th pretty much. Yeah, they've made up 6 places. Biggest loser at the moment is Luigi, unfortunately, who's lost 7 places. There's a new nose on. Right then. No penalties, which is good to see.
Jaden,
we
have seen the star right now, but who do you think has the chance of winning on pure pace if there will be no more safety cars after this one?
Now, we saw in Hungary, when it was when you were commentating as main, Lightan in the wet weather conditions absolutely excel, and he's currently still in the lead. And so I think he does like these conditions. So I think Lightan at the moment is favourite. We know Ollie got his elbows out into on the first lap to challenge Taze, but Taze just edged ahead as Ollie was under pressure from Sin, who lost out to Callum. who's made a brilliant start up in the 4th. So yeah, watch out for him. Sin Icon in a Red Bull sandwich, really. Chaz F1 really got his elbows out, pretty much forcing Carbo and Optic off the track in a bid to get ahead. Don't know if that was anything we said about that. But yeah, he's back up in the 7th where he started. He's got Logan ahead of him, and whenever he gets up to the back of Logan, Logan doesn't really fight it. Sin Icon hasn't scored a point since his return, so tonight could be a good chance. But yeah, the longer under safety car, the quicker the rain will decrease. What's happened to Lightan then? Okay, the quicker the rain will decrease. Obviously, we are going to enter a stage where it's going to be lightning, and I think if red flags were on, we may have one. But because the red flags are so glitchy, we don't have them on. So it'll stay like this for now. And yeah, we've not even lost anyone, and we have a safety car.
And apparently, I've just heard from Chaz F1 that he got into some. That he got hit from behind and got hit by different people, which is very unfortunate. I mean, he's still up in P7, so definitely not the worst. He's definitely not out of this race, and I definitely think he can get back. But right now, he is still on P7.
He has to, really. At the moment, if it was to finish like this, the gap would go from 18 to 30 points. The biggest it has been, I think, since Chaz led by 30 odd points, and then he crashed in Austria. And Frozen getting another P2 led to that gap pretty much halving, as Luigi's putting another set of tyres on, and he's retiring from the Grand Prix. So we've lost one driver. And that makes it 18.
I wasn't very surprised that we hadn't lost a driver from the opening lap in Singapore.
And that's really unfortunate.
Expectations.
He had a great race in Italy and then got a drive-through and retired, and then not even 3 laps in, he's already out. So yeah, heading into turn 1, Lightan had a done deal of P1. Frozen was under pressure from Ollie, and then Sin Icon hit the back of, I think, Frozen, which made him force Ollie off the track. So that's obviously not his fault. But then Ollie had to battle Frozen, and then Sin battled Ollie around the outside, which kind of led them all 3 to just carry on as they were, with Frozen going off at the end of Sector 1. But no harm, no foul. Let's look at the incidents, a bunch of collisions. Frozen did exceed track limits. I did wonder that.
Yeah, it looked like he was getting pushed up, or like Ollie was getting pushed up or something. It looked like somebody was off track at least.
Right, if Chazmeister catches the train, it might be in this lap. It varies, it depends. But Lightan's ready for a restart. After winning in Hungary and then it being voided to being unvoided, and then with that is being his 2nd win of his career, his 1st win coming at Miami, the closest finish in EXFL history of 8 thousandths, right on the line, and it will be staying out for 1 more lap. So I'm not 100% sure about the wets, but I know inters degrade massively. It doesn't really matter what track, I don't think. Inters will degrade a lot quicker than your average dry tyre. I don't know about the wets though.
Look at this rain, it's definitely full wet right now.
100%. I don't know, give it 10-20 minutes for interlevel, as the safety car will definitely be in this lap, I believe, as Chazmeister's in again. It's quite a long pit lane, so
and it's very easy to get a 5-second time penalty in there as well.
True. It's
very easy.
He's missing an end play, that's why. So even under safety car, these drivers are making mistakes.
That shows how tricky these conditions are. Tier 2 and Singapore wet is not a good mix.
Well, we haven't seen any massive crash, which is great. I'm hoping, because I think all the drivers learned from Italy when it was raining only lightly last time out, how no one pretty much made turn 1. They've really understood when it's full wet, they have to, and look at that, you can barely see the cars in the background. When it's full wet, you have to be very cautious. So, we've got a Williams and McLaren, 1-2, and then we've got a McLaren and a Williams 11th, 12th, and then everyone else in between. So Callum currently not in the points. Chaz F1 looking to gain more points. And BOL Frozen knows he's got those constant P2s and then 4 wins to his belt this season. It's enough to take him onto the 200 point mark, as the safety car will be in the slap, but it's up to Chazmeister if he can catch, and I don't think he will.
Nice, too far back.
It depends how much Laitan slows them down, and if he has a delta. It looks alright for now. Anyway, Laitan will go at a constant pace. Tier 2 for quite a while now have been great at no one getting alongside one another. And they're just going to go single file up until the safety car rolls into the pits. And we don't know how many safety cars we'll get, but Laitan will lead them away. And he stopped weaving. He's just slowing down before the chicane. The safety car is nearly into the pit lane. And when will Laitan go? Chazmeister is way too far behind because he's spun as well. As we are going to get racing back underway as Laitan speeds up now into the final couple corners. Frozen on his tail and racing under the night sky in Singapore in full wet weather conditions begins now. Going wide is a little bit is Callum. But now Laitan will lead into someone. Logan pulling off already to let Chaz by like I thought. But now he's under pressure from Optic, who goes around the outside, who goes too deep. And now Callum is fighting with Sin Icon. And now he touches his wheel. And Chaz is going to seize the opportunity to try and get past. But he's right on the back of Cal, who's struggling in that Red Bull. So far so good out in front for the top 3. But yeah, Chaz right on the back of Callum. Sin Icon goes deep. Chaz moves to the left. And now Logan just stays ahead of Optic as Frosty and Josh are fighting round the outside. Frosty gets ahead. And now Chaz on the inside of Callum, who backs off. Chaz F1 has overtaken both Red Bulls and is up in a P5. But now he's going to come back at him, try a switch, but can't do anything. So Chaz F1 making moves at the moment as Logan nearly runs into the back of his teammate. And we got a yellow further back, and it's the Aston Martin and the Mercedes of Frosty and Oren. So after that overtake he made, great helmet, he's now down into P16.
Chaz tapped the wall there.
Did he?
And like that. Yeah. And
oh, he's hit it again!
And he touches the wall again!
And that's going to make him run wide. No end plate lost. But he's got to keep his focus somehow. He does not have damage, but that is really going to offset him as Chazmeister's off once again. He's going to have to hope for another safety car. And if he's listening, I'm sure there will be. So don't keep your head high as Herosia is ahead of Cal up in a P11. As Josh from last is up in a P13. So yeah, going wide there, Chazmeister, as we got a yellow. Oh, massive pile up here with the Red Bull of Logan and Ben 94 as they resume back into the on-track train. Don't know what happened there. It's allowed Carbro up into 7th. Sin Icon 3 second, that helps Chaz. Is forcing off the track. Is Erozio and Ben. Ben has to cut across, slow down to not get a warning. Laitan 1.4 ahead of Frozen. He's really got the pace. As in between is Cal with Ben and Erozio going off. As Carbro has spun onto the final corner, resets to track. And now there's yellows galore. Around the outside. Callum tries it. Logan versus Josh versus Optic down in 12th. Unfortunately, he got caught out with that as well. And Logan battling Cal, Carbro and Frosty Life swapping places. So Chaz is up in a 5th, 1.3 behind Sin Icon, who's 3 seconds off Ollie, who's 7/10 off Frozen, who's closing the gap a little bit to Laitan. We're on lap 6 now of the Singapore Grand Prix, a 5th of the way done as Chazmeister down in last, then Oren, and then Carbro, who's spun, who's going to pit at the end because he's probably got damage. Then Frosty, then the 2 Alpines, and then look at this train led by Herosia versus Ben. He already forced him off once, and Ben is trying to get past once again because we see a 5-second gap between Erosia to Callum, who's on the back of Chaz nearly. As Frozen's bringing it back into a second. No DRS, remember. And
it seemed that Laitan made a mistake because his gap of 1.5 seconds went down to 8/10 for a second.
Did
something happened there.
Ben tries a move down the inside of Erosia. They make slight contact. And now he's just going to have to stay behind him. You can see this massive train from 7th to 13th. But at the moment, all good. No
Ollie just drifted around the corner. Begin sector 3.
Yeah, at some points though. Oh, as Frozen drifts into the 3rd last corner. Nathan 3 second now. That has lost Frozen a heap of time. The 1.5 second gap is back. And Ollie is now challenging Frozen. It seems like Frozen's got the pace in the 1st sector, but when it comes to the last, he is losing out to Laitan. Now let's see what Ben can do. 3/10 behind Erosia. Does he try anything? as they're both using their batteries in the slipstream. That's all he's got at the moment, but he can't make a move. Is anyone else close enough behind? Not quite. Horozia goes deep. Ben's going to try the switch, and we'll hope to get a run into the straight. Chazmeister Chaz F1 back on his old account has now caught Sin Icon. Sin using all his battery to try and stay ahead, down to 25. Chaz on 35, and he'll be slowly catching him. Now, what about Ben? Does he try and move to the inside, or is he going for the outside? Is he later on the brakes? Not quite. Horozia, he is very aggressive with how he drives as Ben goes over the curb, which is going to send him wide, which allows Callum to have a little opportunity, but he can't quite get him. Yeah, we know Horozia, very aggressive when he battles someone, so Ben's going to have to try and make his move as rash as he can. Remember, these two crashed in the Netherlands 2 weeks ago, which took... no, they didn't. Horozia crashed with Ollie 2 weeks in the Netherlands, which took Ollie out. And Ben, same corner, got hit by Josh, which cost him a podium at home. And they are just sliding around here, trying to keep it facing forward. And that's a yellow, because Oren hasn't kept it facing forward. And that's the second safety car. He's done it a Russell. So, yeah, 2 Russells have caused 2 safety cars. And that's going to once again hamper Leitan's lead. Now, what do they do in terms of tyre life? I'm suspecting they'll all just stay out still.
Yeah, especially in Singapore where it's very hard to overtake and a lot of chaos, especially in the back of the grid. It's not a good idea to pit just for fresh tyres and think from I can overtake them. So I think everyone will stay out definitely up front, yeah.
Sin Icon's coming into the pits. Interesting. Chaz F1 has been freed then. And the only person standing between him and his title rival is Ollie. Seems like Sin's the only one coming in. Interesting. Seems like Nathan may peel off. No, he doesn't. He cuts back across, stays ahead of Frosty. As Carbro's coming in. And Oren. It's one of those where if you lose your whole front wing on impact, it will instantly cause a safety car, and that's what's happened. So, safety car 2 out of 5. And this will help Chazmeister. Like I said, he will be able to catch back up to the pack. And Frozen's been allowed to catch back up to Leitan. But Chaz F1 really showing strengths here. Good pace, good overtakes. And now he's up in a 4th, which is really what he needs. But does he have the pace? Can he maximise on any opportunities to get onto the podium to beat BOL Frozen?
I mean, so far for tier 2, it's been a pretty clean race around Singapore. I think especially up front, in the back there have been some contact, but not too much. I think it's just right now, it's a pretty good Singapore Grand Prix.
Bram, do you want to go to tyres and check what tyres people are on?
Yes.
Why Sin Icon pitted?
Sin Icon, Carbro and Chazmeister are on the intermediates. The first drivers to make the switch.
That is quite the gamble. Because if it does dry up, I mean, I know those inters are going to wear away, but it's a long pit lane. And if it does dry up and, well, lessen up, you never know. But with safety cars and stuff, they may gain, but I don't know if that's the greatest strategy, considering we're still heading into the Thunder phase. And yes, I know after the Thunder phase is the interphase, but it's going to take a while. The rain, look at that, it's still so heavy. And they're going to struggle a lot. And Oren in the on the wet tyre, surrounded by Inter people. It's going to be quite interesting.
And do not forget, it's very hard to overtake. So even if you're quick on these tyres, see to overtake. I say 10 drivers to be back at your old position. It's very difficult and not easily done.
Right, what's happened with Optic? He's into the pit lane too. So is this going to be Inter's? Has his teammate Sin Icon told him to pit? We'll see what happens. He should get out behind him. And are there green stripes on those tyres? It is indeed. Inter's for the other AlphaTauri. Carbro is making his way around the final 2 corners. So AlphaTauri then, 14th and 15th, the lead Inter runners. Let's see what that could do for them. It's going to be a bit close between him and Carbro. He should emerge ahead. Carbro sees him into turn 1. And it's going to be dependent on the YI. Carbro, I think, is ahead, but he slides! Carbro trying to get ahead, and that's made him spin. And Optic is ahead, and Carbro rejoins.
I've just gotten information that says that it will take 10 minutes for the track to start drying up. So it's very early for the intermediates.
I don't know if Cody's are really that good that they've simulated different rain at different parts of the track, but look at the rain now. It's so much lighter. It was chucking down a lap ago, and now it's just... It looks like interlevel now. Just shows how quick the track and game can change. But as we head through the hairpin onto the straight, we'll see in comparison to last lap if it's just that. But no, I do believe AlphaTauri may have pulled something here that no one else, well, no one in front of them has decided to. And yeah, look at that. It's not heavy rain anymore. It is light rain.
This Asian weather is crazy, man.
You can still see wet patches and a line starting to appear, as the safety car will be in next lap, I believe, if not this. And yeah, just it's definitely lightened. And considering the safety car isn't in this lap, the top 13 have one more lifeline. If they want to pit for inters, they will drop probably to last, maybe ahead of Chasmeister, but it's a gamble. Do they stay out now, get a gap, pit under another safety car for inters, or do they pit now? We're going to see. Do they reel off into the pit lane?
It looks like it stopped training here for me.
Yeah, they do. They're all pitting. They are all pitting. Sid Icon and Optic AlphaTauri have pulled a blinder on all of them, as Ollie nearly tries to get past them. And who stays out? Do any of them stay out? No. Sid Icon is going to take the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. He's going to make an AlphaTauri 1-2 as he slows down for some reason.
What a strategy, man.
All the four of them. Carbro is on the podium. Oren is fourth. Lightan exits the pit lane. They're all on inters. Let's see as the order changed. Chaz F1. What's happened to Chaz F1? He's down in 12th.
He's has
lost
a bit
out
of
to
front
Cal.
wing damage. He probably repaired his front wing.
Oh, because he's lost out to Cal, Ben, Herosia, and the other Callum. So all that hard work has come undone for the Alfa Romeo, and now he's going to have to do it all over again, starting with his title rival's teammate, as Chasmeister has even gained a place or two ahead of people who've pitted onto inters. Everyone is on the inters, apart from Oren, who's still on the wets. Oh no.
Please, Oren.
Oren.
Please, Oren, don't
mate.
crash into different people.
I mean,
Please.
if it's still wet weather track, he may take the lead, but it's not going to last long. But what a strat from the AlphaTauris and Carbro. They lead 1-2. Sid Icon, a few races into his return, doing a Danny Rick pretty much of Red Bull to AlphaTauri as a reserve. And now, Optic on his debut finds himself second with his teammate leading the race.
A crazy debut race for Optic, yeah. And a 1-2 situation with AlphaTauri, who I think, won a race this season.
They haven't won a race in a while, as the safety car will be in this lap. I think Carbro is saying he wants to go medium, but obviously the track isn't dry enough for that. It hasn't stopped raining yet. Safety car's in then, and as much as Sin Icon has that 3 second, the whole field is sandwiched by 2 3-second drivers. He is still going to take this time to lead the Grand Prix. And AlphaTauri, let's see what they can do. Let's see what the original leaders can do of Lightan and Taze, and especially Chaz. He's done great once before on a safety car restart in this sort of position. Let's see if he can do it again. Right then, Sin Icon climbing through the gears. Safety car is heading into the pit lane. It's going to speed up a little bit. And now we're going to get going. The safety car is into the pit lane. Is it slowing him down? I'm not sure. But now we're going to begin racing. As Lightan across the line trying to overtake Oren, as BRL Frozen has capitalised on that, and Ollie has capitalised on both of them. In down the inside, Frozen gets hanged by Ollie. Oh, there's a massive crash with Ollie. He's been spun, and Frozen and Lightan still battling. Oren ghosted, which is allowing Lightan to get back ahead of Taze. Frozen, he knows this could be the potential win. Oren holding Frozen up, and that allows Lightan to try and go around the outside. Oren on the inside. The Williams clears it. Oren cuts the corner pretty much. Frozen gets ahead now, and they are as they were, but Ollie has been sent down. No, he's not. That was the other... Wait, what? Never mind. Ollie's up in the third. I thought I saw Ollie spin.
And Herosia just dived it down the inside of Callum, and he overtook him, a very clean dive bomb.
Oren's
and
getting
now
mugged.
he dives from Oren and makes a bit of contact.
Oren's losing hand over fist here as Chaz F1 is battling Cal on the inside. The Alfa Romeo versus the McLaren. He's going to try the same thing. They bang wheels. Now Chaz has the upper hand, using his battery to get ahead and stays ahead. But Oren in front of him is going to cause a bit of a handle. No, not for long. He's going to go around the outside. Does he have enough trust in Oren? Yes, he does. And now Oren's going to hold Cal up and the rest. Chaz F1 makes some moves. But now, I swear I saw Ollie spin. Whatever the case, Ollie is now fighting ahead of Lightan and Taze. We've got yellows at the back. And now Ollie is up into P2 ahead of Carbro, ahead of Lightan, ahead of Taze. So Sin Icon, nearly a 3-second gap there. Herosia 3 second now on exit, ahead of Callum. Logan, what's happened to Logan down in 12th? As they're all having to get past Oren. See further front. Ollie has dispatched Carbro and has just completely gone. So he was third behind Lightan and Frozen, but now he has capitalised. I don't know what I saw into turn 1 of a Haas round, but whatever the case, Ollie is ahead. And now Lightan's all over the back of Carbro, who's sliding out of turn 3. Frozen right on the back as Josh Hewitt now gets past Oren. I don't know why Oren is staying out on those wets as he's getting absolutely sent. What on earth? As Logan gets spun. Optic now on the back of Oren, who was down. Oh, it might have been. Oh. As getting spun is Chaz, banging wheels. Oh, it was Optic, I think, then, who got spun at turn 1. But now he's trying to regain his place. Does Oren straight later? Yes, he does. Oren makes contact with Optic. Optic down the inside, but has to stay behind for now. Right, Chaz has to get past Ben again. As Lightan, right on the back of Carbro, is holding him up. And when will he try a move? Does he try it over the Anderson Bridge into the hairpin? It's going to be a late lunge. Not quite. As Optic does get past Oren. Round the outside, does he? And now he's under pressure from Josh and the 2 Alpines behind. Doesn't quite try it. A little bit of contact between the Alpines. Breaking deep is Frosty Life. And Logan's going to have to recover now after being spun by Oren. Right, here comes Lightan then. Does he try it on Carbro? He goes defensive to the inside. Lightan's going to try it on the outside. Carbro breaks early, but now he keeps his nose in there to keep ahead of Lightan, which is really holding them up. He loses the rear, and Lightan's going to seize this opportunity. Does he try it as Carbro goes into the pits? And
Frozen
wait,
too.
Oh, are they gambling for mediums? Oh,
And
Sin
DRS is
Icon!
enabled, and then
And we've got a virtual safety car. Sin Icon has crashed, heading into the pit lane. You can see he's got no front wing. So that means Ollie is going to take the net lead as they go onto the dry tyres. It's not even stopped raining, but if the game has offered this strategy, then you can see the front wing of Sin Icon. Absolute madness as it's a VSC, which may have just given Ollie and all them pitting under a massive advantage. Lightan leads with his teammate 1-2. But with the VSC going to end soon, they're going to have to pit under normal conditions.
What a
Chaos.
strategy goal from Ollie and Frozen. What a goal. As soon as they enter the pits, DRS enabled virtual safety car.
Wow, so
What a
Carbro.
car.
So Frozen has got ahead of Ollie in the pit stops.
Oh yeah.
Oren on the mediums, so is Chazmeister. Cal has put the inters on. For some reason, that's completely destroyed his race. So Carbro is the lead driver, and then Sin Icon has got a drive through as if it could get any worse.
God.
Ben gets ahead of Callum. Chaz watching all this. These 6, are they going to continue? Because it's still raining. But are the dry tyres better? Oh, Oren 3 second. Chaz right on the back of Callum. And Ben on the back of Erosia. Are there any moves?
Herosia just closed the door on Ben. Ben was looking at overtaking in a hairpin, but Herosia just closed the door immediately and they almost made contact. This is very frustrating for Ben 94. He is still behind the French driver.
Erosia stays ahead of Ben.
Too far.
But will they pit now? The Williams have a dilemma here. They're going to have to both stack. Does Erosia stay out? No, he comes in as well. So they're all going to pit. And this is really going to hamper Chaz, who nearly runs at the back of Cal, making sure none of them speed as they all slow down in time. And now they're all going to put the hards onto the end, potentially, as we approach the halfway stage. Carbro will become the leader, but he's got Taze Frozen, who's got ahead of Ollie in the pit stop somehow. Callum puts mediums on. Ben puts softs on. Nathan gets a 5 set for speeding. What about Chaz? What does he put on? He puts the hards on. And now Carbro takes the lead. as he goes over the curb. That might be a warning for him. Ahead of Frozen, ahead of Ollie, who's really closing the gap to Frozen. Then Lightan emerges in fourth. He hasn't lost too much, but in terms of the fight for P1 and 2, he is truly out of it, as even Josh Hewitt from P19 is up in a P4 now. And Ben 94 on those soft compound tyres on a drying track is going to be very quick, but his softs are going to die out soon. And Chaz F1 down in P8 as Frozen now takes the lead ahead of Carbro. So BRL Frozen into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. What a fascinating, exciting Grand Prix we've had so far, as Lightan making moves already ahead of Josh. And now Ben ahead of Callum, ahead of Chaz. When will DRS get enabled is the question. Actually, did it just get enabled?
Yeah.
It did, yeah. Right.
As soon as the VSC started.
How on earth has Oren... Okay, so Oren's 9th out of all this somehow, instead of being last. And unfortunately, Cal, after putting Inters on, is down in last. With Sin Icon, it's make or break for him every race. First, last, middle, no points. Let's see what he can salvage. Ollie is right on the back of Carbro then, with no ERS. Does he try and move down the inside? There's a gap. Carbro leaves him the space. They come perilously close. Ollie loses the rear a little bit, and that allows Carbro to stay ahead. The light's still flashing due to the wet weather. And Lightan is going to have to hope for another safety car. But the more Carbro keeps Ollie behind, the more Taze Frozen will extend his gap. All three of the top three have led this race at one point, or in the net, or have had the net lead as Carbro goes off. That's a 3 second for him. And now he's really struggling. And Ollie looks like he'll try and get him on the next straight.
And just from all of this, still down in P8,
Whoa.
not looking at gaining a lot of positions. He still stays at that lower points area.
The 3 second
Josh Hewitt takes
penalties
a 3 second time penalty.
starting to emerge. Here comes Ollie then. Does he try it? Carbo's used all his ERS to try and stay ahead of Ollie. But Ollie is using all of his ERS to try and get ahead of Carbo, and he can't quite get the move done. So what about Ben? Does he close on Josh? As Chazmeister now gets the 3 second down in P16. Battling away with Nathan. Logan down in 14th. Optic, unfortunately, still outside of the points as Oren's getting overtaken by Erosia. Erosia down the inside, goes deep. Oren tries to switch back. The Williams versus the Mercedes. And now, does he try around the outside? Erosia forces his way and puts Oren nearly in the wall. Perilously close to being taken out there. Does Oren keep his nose in? Erosia tries around the outside and gets ahead. Good battle.
That and Josh Hewitt, who started from last place right now, is up into P5. He has that 6 second time penalty, but still, that's an amazing drive from the Britishman.
Here comes Ollie then, round the outside of Carbro. He's got the DRS, he's got the place, and now he's got P2 in this race. And now it's a 3.2 second gap from Ollie to Carbro, who's trying another send, but he backs off and stays behind Ollie. He may challenge him again, but Carbro with that penalty, podium chances have taken a bit of a hit, but he's currently still third, and if there's no safety cars left, he may still get that. But now it's up to Ollie as Carbro has lost it! Round the final corner.
As soon as you say that.
Brilliant. He resets the track, and that's the podium chances completely gone now. As like I said, Ben is going to be one quick driver on those softs.
The commentator's curse really be hitting today. We've run a cursor like 3 times.
Whoa. Carbro losing the rear. That allows Callum ahead, and now Chaz may gain a free place. If Carbro has damage, he may pit at the end of the lap. So, 3.5 seconds is the gap between Frozen to Ollie, as Frosty Life gets a 3 second. And at the moment, Frozen has got the pace to keep ahead. As Optic's back in, that's good to see. He's going to drop down, unfortunately, out of the points at the moment after a great qualifying. And Ben, on those softs, is right on the back of Josh's. Logan is out!
Logan and numero 3.
He
Not
was
a safety
battling
car.
with Frosty Life. And if we can see the red... Oh, he's just gone straight on. He was battling with the Aston of Frosty Life. Did he go too deep? Did he go over the curb into the wall? Did Frosty hit him into the wall? Who knows? But we've lost our second driver, and that is the 3rd safety car now. And Frozen's lead, this will help Ollie, has gone. And this will help Lightan to gain on them.
We've had 4 safety cars in one
Oh, is it
race right
4?
now. Yeah, we had that virtual. I don't know
Logan-
if it counts as a safety car.
Logan's talking about Oren. It may have been Oren then who hit him. Is this the fourth safety car?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I thought this was the third as Leighton's in. Is he going to pit for mediums to go to the end? As Josh stays out. Ben 94 will certainly come in. Callum will stay out. Carbro is in. What about Chaz? Josh Hewitt's got a drive through for speeding under the safety car.
Oh no!
As Chaz, and he can't serve that under safety car, so he's going to have to serve that after. As Ben puts the mediums on. Looks like they're all going to put the mediums on then to go to the end. And Josh Hewitt's got another drive through.
What?
Oh, his race is completely ruined now.
You can get 2?
I don't know what was happening. Chaz F1 then on the mediums. As what's going on here? Nathan, Chaz Meister. As Chaz gets a 5-second for crossing the pit lane wide exit, caught that. You can get a warning for crossing that line under normal conditions, but under safety car, I don't know if that's a 5-sec. So if he goes to the end, which he probably could, it's debatable if that will get removed or not. I don't think I've ever seen that, but the track is completely dry now, no more rain. Eight, 11, 14.
And that's how things can change. Sin Icon, last safety car, he was in P1. And now this safety car, he's in that last. That's how you can see that Tier 2 is never predictable. And it's very sad to see him there, because he has the pace to be up there into the top 5. But unfortunately enough, he is not there.
So, oh, okay. I think I remember someone telling me this. If you cross the pit lane exit white line once, it's a warning. If you do it again, it's a time penalty. And Chaz, I can hear myself, bro. And Chaz, Rose is in. I can still hear myself, bro. As Josh is out.
Myself. What?
Yeah, that's it for him. Right, so I think if you cross the pit lane white exit line twice, it's a penalty, and Chaz F1 has done just that. So he's got a 5-sec, which I think won't get removed. I think it's all right now, Bram.
Yeah, is it all right?
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
Ben's left. He said he wouldn't have any more connection issues. Yeah, he's left twice in this race. Right. So out of all of that, Oren is Oren is now 4th. So who's on the newest tyres? Leighton in P6 on the mediums. That is an interesting strat because he will gain some time now. As will Ben, as will Carbro. Ben needs to get back in his car as soon as possible. Chaz F1 needs to get past Nathan on his 4-lap-old mediums. Got a bunch of people with penalties.
Apparently Sin Icon is saying that Ollie hit him into the pit entry there. And that's why he crashed.
Oh.
Sin is saying it. I don't know if it's true or not. But that will be controversial. But so far we keep seeing Oren into the top 10 and the high end of the top 10. But his pace is not there. That's honestly pretty crazy. He has been in some incidents, I think. But still, to be in P4 is very solid for the Mercedes driver. Okay, right now we're seeing Joshua. Right now in 5th place.
In 5th, yeah. He's been a bit under the radar this whole time.
It's his debut, right?
Oh, no. It's his debut season, but... oh. Oren. What's happened to Oren? Okay, they're swapping again. Hopefully it's all good now. Right, safety... Oh, my God. What is going on?
I mean...
Hopefully now it's sorted. Don't know what that was all about. Right then. BOL Frozen. Actually, let's put it back to tyres. BOL Frozen and Ollie. Same tyres, same tyre life of the hards. Ollie will now have a fight with Frozen to see who is the victor. Callum is up in a 3rd. after scoring points on his debut. This is his second race, and Oren up in a fourth has been involved in quite a few incidents. And then we have Josh up in fifth, then Lightan, and then Ben, and then Carbro, Nathan, who's on a bit older of mediums, same with Callum. The oldest mediums are Oren, and then we have Chaz F1, and then Chaz Meister, also on the oldest mediums. Frosty Life, Optic, Herosia on the newest medium, should I say. Callum on 5-lap-old hards, and then Sin Icon on 2-lap-old mediums.
And we have gotten confirmation that Ollie has indeed hit Sin Icon during the pit entry. He's saying that Sin Icon broke early, but 99% of the times that's the car who's behind his fault. And that's unfortunate because Ollie's having such a good race. Of course, it's not final, but that's very unfortunate.
So watch out, Ollie could be seeing a penalty his way after the race, but at the moment he's got to get his head down, fights BOL Frozen, and if he can get more than a 5-second gap, he may still get this win. But if this is, I don't know if this is the third or fourth safety car, whatever the case, there's still chance for one more, and we will have 12 laps of running left, in which is easily the longest Grand Prix of the season. It can sometimes take an hour. As BOL Frozen then will lead them away. His title rival down in 10th with a 5-second time penalty. And now Frozen's just got to control the pace. We have 16 left. We lost Josh Hewitt after he got so many... what's happened with Ben and Carbro? Ben's back in, which is good to see. We lost Josh after getting drive-through, so he retired. Logan crashed, which brought out this latest safety car. And Luigi retired after lap 3. So all good, all the orders fine. And BOL Frozen will get underway as the safety car is into the pit lane, and Frozen will climb through the gears, climb through his acceleration into the final 2 corners, and he will go as Nathan's got a 5-second for ignoring yellow flags as we are back underway racing then. Ollie on the back of Frozen, and then Callum watching this unfold. Into turn 1 then. Down the inside is Josh versus Oren. And going round the outside is Lightan on Josh. He caught him napping, and Lightan's got the move done. Great start for him as Ben is now on the back of Josh. He's falling backwards on those hard compound tyres. Chaz is ahead of Nathan now, and now he's got Carbro up ahead, who's trying to go round the outside of Josh. He's going to lose 3 places in the span of 10 seconds, and now it may even be 4 in the span of 15 as Chaz is blasting his battery in the slipstream of Carbro to get ahead of Josh, who's now fallen down, and Alpine are now 9th and 10th. Chaz making moves as he's on the back of Carbro. Does he try a send? Not quite. Nearly went into the back of him. Carbro losing the rear. Chaz all over him. And now he's going to try the inside. And they make contact. And Chaz slides, but stays ahead. And now Josh is back on Chaz and gets back ahead of Chaz. Optimistic move from the Alfa Romeo, who tries to switch back now. This is a brilliant scrap. And now he gets back ahead. He's really feisty in the middle sector as Chaz F1 is back up in 8th. Looking further forward, Ollie 4/10, 2 BOL Frozen, Callum sticking with him, Frosty now battling with Nathan, who forces him right into the wall. They're locking wheels, and through goes Optic to get back into the points as we see some lag further behind. Cal now making his way ahead of Nathan. Down the inside is Nathan, back later on the brakes as he tags the Williams and loses out himself. Herosia unfazed by all that on the back of Frosty's watching Optic fight Josh. And now we see a train of cars. Oren under pressure from Lightan, who made a move already as he's hit the back of Oren. And Oren spins because of it, as Chaz now gets a 3-second time penalty. Oren really slow through the corners, but Lightan could be seeing a penalty coming his way now, as Ben 94 is up in a 4th. Right, so Chaz, Optic now ahead as Nathan's out in the pit lane. So it's all good. Optic gets ahead of Nathan then, back up into the points. Good to see those mediums working well for the drivers, as Chaz now finds himself with a 3-set, Carbro with 2 3-seconds, and Lightan on the back of Ben. As Ben goes deep. No, he doesn't. The lag there. So
Chaz F1 still yet to overtake Carbro, the Ferrari ahead of him. He has 8 seconds of time penalty zone. Carbro 6 seconds. 5 seconds might be removed for Chaz, we're not sure. But right now, he is gaining ground and looking at gaining more positions.
And Carbro's going over the curb a bit there. Could Chaz try and move down the inside? Will he wait for DRS? He will. Ollie is using all his ERS to try and get past Taze Frozen, who's got pretty much 3 times that amount. He's just using it to edge ahead. And now, does Chaz try and move? He's too far back. Same with Lightan to Ben 94. And the top 5, no penalties at the moment. But there may be one coming Ollie and Lightan's way as Frosty gets ahead, but into the wall. loses his part of his wing. Same with Josh. That's why he was losing time. He's lost an end plate. So they both have damage, and that allows Hirose up in a 9th. Oren ahead of Sin Icon. Cal, DRS enabled now, still in 14th. Fastest lap for Ben94, who's catching Callum. These are the fight for the lead medium runners as they're going to close on the 2 hard runners. Ollie is right on Taze, giving him no room to breathe. And with DRS enabled, we could see a change of leadership here. Taze under 40% now, as Ollie is going to use everything he has to try and get ahead of Taze Frozen, who's using his ERS to stay ahead. But Ollie's got the slip, he's got the DRS, and now he's got an opportunity to take the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. Down the inside is Ollie, and Taze hangs it round the outside. He just stays ahead. Millimeters between them as Chaz F1 has now got ahead of Carbro. He's making more moves after move, and Chaz F1 is the highest he's been all race. Sin Icon into the points then ahead of Oren. This race is ramping up with overtakes, and it's ramping up with a lot of spice for positions. And now we see Ben trying to hold off Lightan. Action everywhere you look as they're right on Callum, who really wants this podium, but he might not have the pace to hold on to it. How long can he endure? How long can Taze endure? As Ollie once again is going to have another opportunity, but he seems a bit too far back this time, and he does use his ERS to try and still gain on the McLaren in front. Now it's up to Chaz F1 to close that 2-second gap to get onto the next cars.
Right now we're seeing. Oh yeah, wait, go on.
No, yeah, you carry on, bro.
Okay, right now we're seeing the battle between 5, 4, and 3, and Ben 94, Ben 94 dies it down the inside of Callum, who the rookie loses his position in his rookie season 2. Ben 94 also a rookie. The Dutchman is now up to P3. Leighton is looking to follow him. DRS on, overtake is on. Going to turn 1, the car is flashing, and Leighton also dies down the inside. And Callum in one sector loses 2 positions. He couldn't hang on. He did great though. Now in P5, Ben in P3, and Leighton in P4.
Right, Ollie, is he close enough to try and have a move at Frozen? He seems a bit too far back this time. There was a great battle for P11 between Chazmeister, Cal and Oren, with Chaz staying ahead of Cal, Oren dropping down the order. Both AlphaTauris back up into the points, which is great to see. And yeah, like you said, Ben and Lightan, they're fighting for 3rd in the World Championship. Currently it holds on to Ben, as Seb isn't racing tonight. He went from 3rd down to 6th in one race, and he's going to fall even further behind the pack, as that will allow Ollie to gain on him. But yeah, at the moment, Ben 94, who was challenging for the win last time out in Monza, is now going to close on the top 2 with those mediums, and you never know what could happen. He's been a bit under the radar. I don't think he's been involved in anything, and at the moment, he now has a shot at this victory, and he's bringing Lightan along with him, as Callum at the moment has got 6 people behind him with penalties, so a top 5 finish is not out of the question, as Carbro in the background there, in the wall, got damage, and now he's really pushing Optic to the wall as he down lets him go. Damage, you can see the end plate lost on the right hand side of his front wing. And yeah, now Lightan's going to battle Ben, but do they work together to try and close in on the top 2? Chaz F1 has closed in on Callum, who's all over the show at the moment, and now with the DRS heading onto the start-finish straight, no ERS for the pair of them. Can he try and get him? Little wide on the cut for Callum. Here comes Chaz then. Probably his 10th move today, down the inside for the Alfa Romeo, brakes later, down the inside of the Red Bull. He's into the top 5, is 2nd in the World Championship. And now Lightan is on the back of Ben. Ollie is on the back of Taze. This race is really getting exciting as Carbro drops down the order more as he's into the pit lane for soft compound tyres, and who knows, Frosty and Josh are the only ones behind him. So no change of leadership yet, no change of a podium just yet. And Chaz F1 will close in hopefully on those 2 and make it a 3-way scrap, maybe even a 5-way scrap. 5 teams, 5 cars battling for the win as Frosty gets the fastest lap point. Won't get it though, he's outside the top 10 at the moment. So Sin in 9th, Optic 7th, pretty good comeback considering they were 1-2 at one point. And Carbo rejoins right behind Frosty, so they're going to have a battle. Let's see the ERS. Ollie is really getting Frozen's ERS down to pretty much the same nearly, which is very interesting. Ben 35, Lightan 20. Chaz has got nothing left. He's just trying to push as much as he can after getting through the field. And who do you think is in the best position right now, Bram? Because Ben is really gaining on the top 2.
I still think the best chances will go to BRF Frozen. I mean, it's very hard to overtake, so pretty easy to defend. He's a driver who I know from my experience is a pretty good defender. And especially this season we see he can cope with pressure. So I think he's still in the best position to win this race. But I will not count out Ben, Ollie or Leighton. I still think those three are in for a shot. Being Chas with his penalty, it's going to be very tough. It's definitely possible, but I do not count him as a favourite. But so far I think everyone in the top 4 has a chance, but I think the best chance to go to BRL Frozen.
Ollie has just seen a sign of hope. He's seen Taze Frozen flashing now, and now Ben 94 is within DRS of the top 2 as Herosia's got past Optic. He tries to hang it around the outside. Herosia making a good move there to get up in a P7. He's got pace on those mediums to try and close Callum now for P6. And Cal, you never know, we've got a yellow. It's Josh who's crashed, and that's a safety car because he's done what Sinaikon did. Interesting. What do they do? What does Chaz F1 do? Does he pit for softs to get rid of that 5-second time penalty? What do the top 4 do? What do the top 2 do on their hard compound tyres? This will 100% cement the mediums to go to the end, I believe. The hards may make them, they'll make it, but they may make them sitting ducks at the moment. Well, Josh has just caused the final safety car of the Grand Prix. This allows Carbro and Frosty to catch up. But yeah, very interesting to see what happens now. Who pits and who doesn't? Who gambles? We've seen a lot of good gambles pay off, and we've seen a lot of bad gambles end tragically. So Frozen's in, and Ollie is. Ben 94 stays out to take the lead of the Grand Prix. Same with Leighton, same with Chaz. Chaz does not pit. Callum comes into the pits. Now, let's see. We've seen a lot of positions change in the pit lane, so let's actually see what happens. Frozen in, puts the softs on. Ollie in, puts the softs on as well. And Taze stays ahead of Ollie. All fair, all good. Where will they emerge, though? Considering everyone behind them is pitting, they are still going to emerge in 5th and 6th. Sinaikon has stayed out in P4, so he's the only driver between BRL Frozen and Chaz F1. This is going to get interesting.
That is a massive gamble from BRO Frozen and Ollie. They are lucky that a lot of drivers behind them have decided to pit. They're very lucky
Everyone
with that,
has.
but otherwise they would have been out of the win contention. And this is very good for Chaz F1, who just overtakes them right now. And maybe with the 5-second deduction is now maybe looking at staying ahead of his championship rival BRL Frozen.
But he's still got that 3-second, unfortunately.
But BRL Frozen does have to overtake Sinaikon, and that will cost him a lot of time.
Right,
this
Frosty.
is where Chess can really capitalize in the race.
Besides Carbro on 2-lap-old softs, everyone behind Frozen is on new softs now. Potentially old softs, considering they may have done... Oh, no. A running qualifying. So, the top 4 on mediums. Frozen onwards on the softs. But don't discount Ollie, who was right on the back of Frozen. So if the top 4 have any hope, it's Ollie, who's hopefully going to battle Frozen. But he may work with him, you never know. Ollie may get a penalty coming his way, so he may not care. He may battle Frozen. But they know what their first target is. It's Sinaikon, and then the rest will follow. Ben 94 then finds himself in the lead ahead of Leighton, who may get a penalty for spinning Oren. Depends if he gets submitted. But yeah, at the moment, Ben 94 looking alright. And the safety car will probably come in next lap, which means we'll have about 3 or 4 laps of running. It has been quite a great Grand Prix so far. I was expecting a bunch of chaos and bad driving, but there's been a lot of great overtakes, a lot of great battles. Yes, there's been safety cars, but yeah, this race has been thoroughly enjoyable so far, and I think we're about to see some of the most exciting parts play out in the next 10 or so minutes. Especially
very good race, yeah.
Considering we're seeing the 2 title rivals, they're going to have to battle at one point on this racetrack. We've seen them battle all season in some races together. Britain, it got a bit feisty with Taze forcing Chaz off. Baku, it got a bit feisty with Taze falling down the order with Chaz. So it's swapped a bit, but they've had some good battles too. So it's a matter of desperation. How much does Chaz fight Frozen, or can Chaz, with a full battery, hopefully, I mean, he's still going to save some, can he mount an attack on Leighton and Ben? He knows at the moment he's not in the greatest spot with 3 seconds and that questionable 5-second, which is still going to drop him probably down to 7th, maybe even lower if other people don't have less than 5 seconds. Do have less than 5 seconds. So it's going to be an interesting one. Strap yourselves in. We're going to have 4 laps of running as Frosty now catches the pack. We've still got 14 left in this race as Oren is once again changing positions for some reason. I think that's all fine. Cal, watch out for him. No penalties so far. He could gain a heap of positions if he stays close enough. Alright then, here we go. Those mediums will be a bit worn, but due to the safety cars, it should be fine for the end. Look at the marbles on Ben's tyres as he's weaving to get temperature in them. Lightan, clean as you like. Same with Chaz, Sin Icon. This is his biggest chance to get points on return. You want to make up your mind, Oren? Hurry up. There we go. Good lad. Right, Ben 94 will lead the final safety car restart of the Grand Prix. Weaving around at 70 mile an hour. Interesting. We'll see what happens after the race from that then. But we got to focus on the restart then. Ben will come around the final 2 corners. Safety cars in, and now he is away from Lightan, from Chaz, from Sin Icon, who hasn't had the greatest restart as he's quite a bit behind Chaz. Chaz really looking to get on with this on the back of Lightan, but he's not close enough for any sort of move. So Ben 94 leads into turn 1 from Lightan, from Chaz, from Sin, from Frozen, who begins his charge on those soft compound tyres with no DRS, remember, for the next 2 laps. It will only be the final 2 laps that have DRS as Ollie is now looking to challenge Taze Frozen down the inside. He backs off at the moment, and he's going to make sure he battles with Taze fairly, as here comes Taze then. Sin blasting his battery to stay ahead. Does he go for the inside to defend? He does. And will Taze try any sort of move? Does Chaz try a move? He's taken Lightan with him. And that's a crash with Sin Icon as well, because he didn't ghost. And that's allowed Frozen and Ollie to already get past Chaz, because Chaz tried a move on Lightan. He's completely destroyed his race. And now Chaz may even see even more penalties as he's hit Herosia into the wall. And Herosia gets spun with the other AlphaTauri of Optic. And it's all gone wrong. Sin Icon in the wall. And now it's a battle between Ben and Frozen like it was last week with 4 laps to go. What have you done, Chaz? He's losing the rear. Carbro now on the back of him. Sin Icon is out, and that is once again another race where his chances of a point lose out as Carbro loses the rear on the back of Chaz. And now he's under pressure from Chazmeister, who's been at the back all race. He's now finding himself battling for P5. Down the inside is the Haas, and the Ferrari sliding against the wall. Cal finds himself up in a 7th somehow as he's ahead of Callum. Frosty into 9th, Oren into 10th. Does Ollie try a move on Frosty? He goes to the inside. Does he brake later? Yes, he does. He brakes a little too late. And how does he avoid the Red Bull? I don't know, but Frosty's coming back at Oren, and they're battling once again. And it seems like Frosty will get the move, but Oren, using his battery, comes back round the outside, goes off the track. Frosty may still get this move, and he does, because he loses out to Optic and maybe Lightan, whose race has been completely destroyed now. And now it's just a case of getting back up through the field. And that 2-second gap has already ramped down to minimal tenths. As here we go then on lap 29 of the Grand Prix. Ben 94 versus Taze. He's blasting his battery to stay ahead. Taze isn't using it, so he keeps hold of the lead for now. And now we see Ollie right on the back. Don't discount him as Chaz F1. He knows he may have a penalty or so coming away. Depends how he looks at it with Lightan, but he's already got some penalties. He's got Chaz and Carbro sending it on the inside. As they're battling, they ghost. We've got a yellow further back of Oren, I believe. Chazmeister versus Carbro. Then Carbro hits the wall a little bit. The more they battle, the better for Chaz. But now we see a 3-way battle for the lead. Ollie would have been in the battle last week if his AI didn't pit. And now he's really trying to have a go. And now here we see the 3-way battle. No DRS yet. Ben versus Taze versus Ollie. Does Taze try a move on Ben? No, he sticks behind. So does Ollie try a move? No, he doesn't quite. This is ramping down as now Taze has got the better exit. Ben is struggling on those mediums, and Taze switches to the inside. Here comes Ollie then to the inside of Taze. Does he try a move? Not quite. They stay how they are. And Taze, does he try it around the outside of Ben? No, but Ollie, does he try a move? He can't quite find a gap. Brilliant stuff from the top 3. We're heading on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. DRS is enabled, and Ben is going to come under massive amounts of pressure. These two battled for the win last week. They're battling for the win this week. And now we just have about 8 miles left of the Grand Prix to go. Chaz holding his own against Chazmeister, who's been nowhere all race, and now he finds himself up into the top 5. Callum, who's been outside the points all race as Carbro loses it, may find himself a potential podium. You never know. And what about Callum? He's up in 7th. You never know with him. Top 5 finish maybe on the cards. Now we look to the front. T2S7 taking the lead from Ben94. He can't do anything. T2S7 is into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. And Ollie, if he is to win this race, has to get past the two in front. Chazmeister's now got ahead of Chaz. Callum gaining on Chaz now. As Ollie has now got Ben. Ben drops to 3rd. It may still be 2nd if Ollie gets a time penalty. So it's now up to Ollie, who's got no ERS whatsoever, to try and gain, as Frozen's already outside of a 2nd. And he's looking forward to take his 5th win of the season at the moment.
May I just say, Ben94 has gained 10 positions over this race.
Wow. So has Chazmeister. We've got a yellow somewhere. Oh,
yellow for a Ferrari.
Yep, Carbro, unfortunately, that's going to be no points for Ferrari's Oren as well. Don't know what's happened there. There's no time for a safety car. And BOL Frozen blasting all his ERS to Cape ahead of 1 second. The two Williams fighting for the final points paying position. And Callum now gets ahead of Chaz, Chaz's title rival, as Chaz sees a gap, tries to tank it around the outside, but Callum on the softs gets ahead, and Chaz falling ever more backwards. Unfortunate with his race, with his overtakes. It was questionable with the ghosting system with Lightan, how they didn't ghost for Sin Icon in time. Is out of this race, but we are on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. BOL Frozen 1.6 ahead of Ollie, who's 2 seconds ahead of Ben. Chazmeister with 8 seconds, the other Chaz with 8 seconds. Can Cal potentially find himself on the podium after post-race penalties? We will see, but it may be the same top 2 as last week, as Callum gets a 3 second, which is really going to hamper his chances of a top 5. But are they close enough? Is anyone close enough for a move? Can Chaz hang on to P6? Callum close to him, but not close enough. Lightan, he's got 5 drivers ahead of him with penalties, as Optic gets another one, going wide as his teammate. So he may gain ground, but considering he took Oren for a spin, and the thing with Chaz you never know about, he could still not get points. Carbro and Oren. Okay. Yep, Oren and Carbro, the two have caused probably the most stuff today, find each other in the wall. But anyway, last sector of the Grand Prix. On the last lap, BOL Frozen has pushed Ollie to his maximum. They've been inseparable until Ollie had to make his way through a car that held him up. And BOL Frozen, out of the expense of it all, has kept his nose clean for the most part. And now, for the 5th time this season, and it's 1, 2, 3 wins in a row for BOL Frozen. He wins the Singapore Grand Prix ahead of Ollie, as Ben94 will come home as Optic retires from the Grand Prix. He will not get any points. Don't know what's happened there. Ben ahead of Chazmeister as Callum gets up in a 4th. A brilliant result for McLaren once again. Callum, Frosty Life gets 6th again. Chazmeister 7th, Herosia 8th, and Chaz F1 drops to P10. Carbro 11th. Orange will be 12th with no front wing. Don't know what's happened at Optic. On his debut, he's crashed right at the final sector. Oren goes wide. And BOL Frozen has won the race.
And an amazing job extending his championship lead on Chaz F1. He is right now, he's running away with it. The McLaren extends his lead to, I think, right now to like 33 points or something. Wow.
There we go. There we have it.
That's the Grand Prix.
Singapore Grand Prix, what a race. There may be some controversies or post-race penalties that happen after, but for now, that's the result. Let's have a look at the race director. This is going to be a long one. Right, yeah, let's get the top three in. It was Frozen, Ollie, and Ben. I can't invite Ollie because he's not on Xbox, but can get Frozen and Ben in. Why not? Right then, have you included your audio, mate? All right, include your audio, Ben.
I
It's
have.
all right. We'll start with you then. Um, Quite a bit of an under the radar race for you. Um,
Yep.
I think it was.
Again.
Where did you qualify?
13th.
13th, and you came back to finish on the podium. A great result for you, cementing more and more that third in the standings and gaining on Chaz. Just take us through that race, really.
Um, yeah, I was quite surprised by how wet it was that we actually had to start on the wet since I thought it was going to be Inters. Start was just chaotic as well as I expected, and then I think a safety car came in the first few laps, and then I was behind Horosia, and that's a frustrating guy to be behind because he was quick on the straights, but he can't make a single corner. So then I gain on him, and he's fast on the straights again, and I would have driven ahead of him like 2 seconds by that point, but he was going over curbs everywhere, and that was not even the most frustrating part because well then there's another safety car came and then we went on to Inters. Then I realized too late. I thought the track was way too wet, and then I saw already cars passing that pitted for Inters earlier. Then I was behind. Then I was in front of Carbro during the safety car, and I always try to go off the racing line. I try to, not stay behind cars in the case of a brake check. Then I at least can avoid quick enough. But he follows me everywhere as if he wants to stay in my slipstream, and I was almost gonna brake check him, but I didn't. And then all of a sudden, my engineer said, "Yo, dries are the quickest option." I was like, "There's still rain. What's going on?" So I went on the softs because, well, I knew that hards were gonna be awful on a wet track, and I wanted to pit anyway again. Don't know if it was the right choice. I mean, there was a safety car and I only had 2 laps on the soft, so I went to mediums, and those were the tires I finished on, despite another safety car. I thought, yeah, well, I have Lighten behind me, and behind him is Chaz, so those 2 cars are not the easiest to pass. And then they take each other off, and I'm like, great. So my only barrier of holding my lead is now gone. And then
Hmm.
I had Taze and Ollie following me, and yeah, I knew that I was gonna fight with everything I had, but I didn't have much. And well, I was still glad to have a podium, especially where I started.
It was a great fight between you and the other two, but unfortunately on the mediums to their new softs, it was pretty much inevitable. Um, I did hear throughout the race Ollie may get a penalty for hitting Sin Icon into the pit lane wall. So you may be P2, so it may be the same top 2 as last week. I don't know if
Oh,
Taze did anything. I didn't see him do anything, but you never know. Anyway,
yeah.
brilliant race from you, mate. Another
Thank
podium,
you.
and yeah, you're really showing why you're one to watch for in this World Championship, and
I'm
great
just happy.
points for Mercedes as well.
Yeah, I'm just happy I didn't disconnect while at racing speed.
Yeah, you
I don't know what's
disconnected
going on.
luckily under a safety car, so you didn't
And I
lose
decided to
much.
give up again. I don't know what's going on. Need to have that checked.
Hmm. Right, on to our winner then, BOR Frozen. You there, mate?
Alright.
You, inclu-
Sorry,
you,
since
inclu- you include your audio?
yeah, I have included my audio.
All
Yeah.
right. That was quite the chaotic race, and you kept a cool head, and out of all of it, you ended up winning the Grand Prix. So yeah, also to you, take us through your race.
Yeah, I mean, going in qualifying, I mean the 11th pole like wasn't really on my mind. To be honest with you. I just sort of wanted to get quali over and done with. I mean, it was only a couple of thousands to light time, but I mean, still a good qualifying nonetheless. Still starting on the front row. In the race, I mean, didn't really expect it to be full wet. I thought it was going to be there's your conditions, but at the start, it was just the conditions were absolutely horrendous. I think everyone really struggled throughout the first part of the race. I mean, through the middle part of the race, I mean, as I know the Inters, I mean, the two AlphaTauris, they had the best travel. They called it right, and then they took the lead. 1-2, but I mean, still, yeah, sort of. I don't really know. I mean, near the end, um, I was really hoping for a safety car. Like, I mean, Josh retired in the pit, which is a bit unfortunate anyway, but I did gamble the pit for the softs because I knew my hards at the end were absolutely disgraceful. So for the softs, and it shows to be the right strategy. I just had the right pace at the end to make the move on Ben. And I was a bit fortunate with Chaz, and I think it was Lighton having an incident together. I was a bit fortunate with that, just swerved out of the way in time for that. But yeah, still a good win nonetheless.
Indeed, and that cements you more with your championship lead at the moment. What's the next race? Japan, I believe. How are you around Japan?
I mean, I don't. To be honest, I've not really got any favorite tracks, but I mean, Japan is definitely a decent track. I definitely do like it. Just depends on my day if I'm good at it or if I'm not.
I believe it's been one season since. I believe your first podium was Singapore last season. So one season later, a lot's changed. And yeah, what about you, Ben? How are you feeling around Japan?
Uh, I'm frightened because, well, I'm not the greatest on pace in that track. I'm just gonna stay out of trouble, or I'm gonna try and stay out of trouble like I normally do. But it's definitely not one of my strongest races. I love the track, but yeah, don't expect anything from me. No, that's it.
All right. Well, that has been the. Actually, any final word from you, Bram?
Yeah, Ben. The last couple of races, you have seemed to tighten up the gap to the P2 in the championship to Chess F1. The gap's just getting tinier and tinier. I wonder, do you think you can catch up to him?
It's so inconsistent that I really can't tell because, um, well, I don't know if I'm gonna have multiple podiums in the next coming races, but Chaz is fast enough to gain a podium, but something goes wrong almost half of the time. So if he stays out of trouble, will definitely finish ahead of me most of the time. But the way things are going now, I might actually catch him. I don't know how many points I need per race to catch him eventually. But yeah, if he stays well in the points, then it's gonna be difficult. But I'm gonna try. That would be amazing if I'll be able to do that. So yeah.
All right. So that has been the Tier 2 Season 7 Singapore Grand Prix. I've been Efron Union main commentator, and Bram alongside me. We'll hopefully see you next time out for the Japanese Grand Prix. Tier 1 tomorrow for Singapore as well. Same time. We will see you then. And in a bit.
Bye.